Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, and those watching on FCTV, thank you for watching. My name is Peter Johnson-Staub. I'm the Assistant Town Manager, and I just want to welcome you. We're really glad to see a few faces here live for this conversation about the police station site plan. This is the proposed police station for 100 Brick Kiln Road. And we have a committee of residents who've been appointed by the Select Board, working with the police department staff, town staff, as well as our consultants, Tecton Architect and Owner's Project Manager, Vertex. And tonight we're focusing on the site plan for this project. We're going to have a presentation, pretty brief, about 15 minutes, and then we really want to hear from you folks, your questions, your ideas, suggestions for the site plan, and the presentation will include sort of next steps and additional opportunities to get more information and provide input as this planning process continues. This is not by any means the last opportunity for the public to weigh in on this design. So with that, I'll hand off to the chair of our Police Station Advisory Committee, Boyd DeMello.
Good evening. Thank you for all coming out tonight. It's a little chilly out there, but we seem to manage to make it. But this is New England, so we're all accustomed to that. So I'm Boyd DeMello, Chairman of the Police Station Advisory Committee. I'm joined by a couple other of my committee members in the back, Chris April and George Solo, back in the back. This is a project that's been going on for a while. The committees, I can attest to the fact, being on the committee, that we've worked hard, and we're on a tight time frame. So this wouldn't happen where we are right now without the committee's due diligence on this project. Back when we were looking for a site, it was every 2 weeks we were meeting. Now we're down to once or twice a month on the site plan while the plans are being developed by Tecton. So we're moving forward at a rapid pace, and you'll see in the timeline that we're going to present tonight that it is a tight timeline to get this done, but we're confident that we will get it done. So anyways. We did a select board update to the board last Wednesday night, bring them up to speed on the site plan. We have the community forum here tonight. We have another community forum scheduled for the 25th of this month, and we're going to try to get at least 2 more in before November of this year. The 25th meeting of February is also, we're sending out letters to the abutters to the project to invite them to the meeting. We want community input to that. We're moving into the neighborhood. We want to be good neighbors with everyone, so we want to hear what they have to say and feel about the project. Schematic design cost estimate is due in the week of March 20th, and we're continuing with select board updates approximately monthly through November of this year. 100% design development and completed and cost estimates will be due in on the week of June 19th. Construction document estimates the week of August 17th, 100% construction documents on the week of October 5th. Construction budget for the warrant for the fall town meeting will be August and September of this year, and a possibility of a special town meeting in September and November of this year, and a ballot referendum question possibly in November or December this year. Those details are still being worked out by the town administration, Town Administrator Mike Renshaw, Peter Johnson-Staub, and the town clerk's office. Peter was explaining to me earlier, there's a lot going on there, so we'll have more information on that as that becomes available. And all in all, everything gets approved. We're looking to start construction on the parcel in March of 2027. Site investigation, the environmental assessment was conducted on January 15th, and there's no areas of concern noted during that assessment. Geotechnical borings, Geotech was coordinating with Greg Endicott from the Department of Public Works Facilities Manager. It was scheduled for today. There has been some site survey work completed, but due to the weather, part of this was pushed off to another time. Like I said, the site survey work was completed. It was scheduled for February 6th. This is the parcel that we're using. It's the former home of the Cape Cod Drive-In Theater. Before that, it was an airport. It's referenced sometimes as the Augusta parcel for the family that owned it previously to the town purchasing the property from the family. In the corner of the schematic down below, you'll see an area in light green that's cordoned off for the lift station. This parcel is become a dual-use parcel, or actually a tri-use parcel if you could think about it. It's going to have accommodation for a lift station for the current sewer main project that's going on in town, and then the police station, which will site on the property, and then some other areas of the land will be set aside or is set aside for recreation use, future sports fields in town. Thanks to Mr. McConaughey over at the DPW, he dug up some old flyover data. This is a picture of the property, and in it, when you look closely at it, and I'm sure it's hard to see from there, you'll see the runway strip for what was the airport at the time, and there is actually, again, a plane on the airport property. If you look closely at the picture, you can see the plane on the property, which I thought was pretty interesting. Peter, that's from what, the 50s? 1950, thank you. Here's another historical photo. This shows the Cape Cod Drive-In property, where it was located. Currently, the land is overgrown. The Drive-In Theater Board has been down for years. The concession stand's no longer there, but that's essentially where the drive-in property was located on this parcel. And that brings us up to test fit options, and I'll turn it over to Matt Salad from Tecton for this.
Thank you, Boyd. Good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Salad. I'm a project manager with Tecton Architects. We're an architecture firm out of Hartford, Connecticut and Providence, Rhode Island, who specializes in design of public safety facilities throughout New England. When we started working on this site in particular, we've certainly engaged with the building committee for analyzing and assessing many parcels throughout the community, and ultimately late last fall, 100 Brick Kiln Road was identified and approved for us to move forward with the development for this project. Since January 1st, we've been working with the police department as well as the Public Safety Police Station Advisory Committee about how to best site the new police facility on this parcel. And as Boyd had indicated, there's a couple of other uses that we're coordinating with to make sure that all those municipal components fit well within the site and is preserving as much usefulness of the property for the future for open space and recreation. Those uses are desperately needed in town, as well as the police station is, and site is at land is at a premium. So we want to make sure that we're accommodating everybody as best as we can. And the best way to do that is to take the program, the actual space needs of the police department, what they need, number of parking spaces, public access, and then the actual components of which make up their building. We test that a number of different ways to find the most economical way to site the building on the site, as well as make the site itself the most easily receptive to police operations and the public as well, because this ultimately is a public building. What you see on the screen here are two of the options that we had put together. We've put together many more, and in fact, the committee voted on 5 different arrangements on the site that we had come up with ultimately. The two that came up to the top of the list are what you see on the screen here. On the left is option 1, on the right, on the right is option 1, on the left is option 2. They both have their benefits, and they both have, in one in particular has some negatives. And then ultimately one was selected by the advisory committee that we're continuing to develop and would like your input as the public on tonight. So option 1, the first scheme that we had come up with, this looks at, I'm gonna actually take the mic with me. So on this side of the screen here, you have Brick Kiln Road. This is the lift station that's part of the SOAR project that bids had just been received, and construction is going to start shortly on that. And so this was looking at really siting the building such that it addressed Brick Kiln Road and made that public entry and thoroughfare directly off Brick Kiln. So as you come in from the public off of Brick Kiln Road, just past the lift station, there's a large public parking area in the front of the building, and then a drive on access with the front entry of the station. We'd provide a series of vehicle protection in front of that building so that it is safe from anybody wanting to do harm. But essentially, this is your main entry. One thing of note is having all of this parking right in front of the building. It sort of pushes the building off of Brick Kiln Road, but you would see it from the street. Down to the lower portion of the plan, there's another curb cut and drive that sweeps along the bottom. That would be the main entry for all staff vehicles coming into the police department, who would then circulate to the back of the property behind the police station into a secured parking lot. This rear parking lot has 88 parking spaces for staff vehicles, as well as civilian staff, cruisers, and the equipment that they use on a regular basis. Part of that would be covered with a parking canopy that could be fit out for solar in the future. We also have an impound lot for any vehicles that are maintained by the police department as evidence or where it's part of an accident that need to be assessed. We have an outbuilding on site, so if you've listened to some of the other presentations we've given to the select board and to the police station advisory committee, we talked about reducing the overall size of the main police station building because it's an expensive construction because of its use. And if we took some maintenance components out of there, some storage components out of the main building, we can build that into a pre-engineered metal building at a much lower cost. So giving the police department everything they need, but trying to increase the value to the taxpayer and to the residents of Falmouth. Behind there, we're indicating an area that we'll reserve on site for a future modular indoor firing range. That's not part of the project today, but maybe something that would be visioned somewhere down the road. So we want to make sure that we're accommodating all the needs of the police department today and also giving them the room for growth into the future as they need it. The drive from the public lot then returns all the way down along the northern extent of the site out to Route 28. It's about a quarter of a mile through the site itself. This roadway is sort of in line with the sewer line that's going to be installed as part of that sewer project. So we're not disturbing a lot of landscaping or taking a lot of trees in order to do that. This is already going to be a cleared area as part of that initial project. So with that, I'll move on to option 2. So this second option looks at sort of changing the way that the building presents itself to Brick Kiln Road. Rather than addressing Brick Kiln Road directly and having the main entrance directly off of there, we're looking at this side street that we're creating that goes through the parcel out to Route 28 as an actual roadway itself. So the public would still enter off of the same curb cut off of Brick Kiln and into the site, and all the public parking would be just to the north of the police station. This then being your new front entry to the police station itself. This does a couple of things for us. One, it provides a little bit more security for the police station because we don't have a direct line of roadway access right into the building. Additionally, it allows the public parking spaces to be towards the back of the site that's reserved for future recreation and ball fields, so that there wouldn't need to be a lot of extra parking spaces constructed to support those ball fields. These could be dual used, so both by the public coming to the police department and by the public who are going to be recreating on towards the rear of the site. Same entry for the police staff coming into the back here. Their staff parking lot is now in this portion of the site, and that is lined with the impound lot, that outbuilding that I described on the first option, and then down on the bottom here is an area reserved for the future firing range. Now, it feels like we're taking the back of house and pushing it out to Brick Kiln Road. But in the reality of what's happening, you see all these dashed lines on the side of the screen here. That's your topography. Those are the grades. If you drive by the site, you'll notice that the site kind of dips down. There's a bit of a hill that works its way down to this side of the parcel. We're going to take advantage of the grading such that all of these things that you wouldn't want to see from the public way would be down below grade, behind a row of trees. You really wouldn't see it. It wouldn't be visually there. So this sort of would be hidden from public view. The other thing this test fit does, if you recall back on the first option, we were developing the site all the way back here again because all of the public parking was out front. It pushed the building further into the site. In this option, because the public parking is along the north and along the drive, it allows us to move all of our site development and consolidate a lot closer to Brick Kiln Road, preserving more open space for recreation and things like that in the future. So it's really about creating the most efficient use of the site and consolidating as much of the police activities into a smaller area and preserving as much of the parcel for open space and recreation in the future. Ultimately, this option that you see here, which was option 2, was voted as the preferred option by the Police Station Advisory Committee just a week and a half ago. And And so that is the one we're starting to develop now. Beyond that, if you'd like to find out more information about the project, and there is quite a bit of it, please use the link that you see on your screen here. That'll bring you to the Police Station Advisory Committee's website. That'll have things of documents, other site plans and plans as we develop them, as well as future postings for additional meetings and public and community input sessions that are going to be scheduled in the coming weeks and months. So with that, I would like to open the floor up to any questions or comments you may have. Really, your input is really important for this process because we want to make sure that the town of Falmouth is reflected in the design moving forward and that your concerns are heard and addressed with the project. It's certainly a big project for the town, and it's important that we make sure that all of your concerns are heard. So, thank you.
And for anyone that wants to speak, if you could please come up and use the microphone. This is going to FCTV as well, and they won't pick you up if you don't use the mic.
My name is Richard Doobie. A couple of quick questions. Is the square footage in either plan the exact same?
Sorry about that. It is, yes.
It's okay.
Can we clarify of the building or of the site?
No, I'm just talking about the building itself.
Yeah, the building itself, the square footage is the same.
And could you give me what that square footage is in this plan?
We're, off the top of my head, we're between 45 and 47,000 square feet.
Okay. I have a problem with this going to a ballot issue as far as it being passed, and I'll tell you why. First off, I'm a big supporter of our police department. Just a bit of history. I was the first one to meet with Chief Laurie after the first civilian. After he took office, I took a tour of the facilities that they provided me. I was the one who wrote the letter, the editor to the Enterprise about the deplorable conditions that they're working in, the need for a new facility. I am all in favor of a new facility. But unfortunately, the Falmouth Police Department, before the chief got here, the Falmouth Police Department has always gotten this favored child when it comes to anything that they want. You know, Mr. Johnson-Staub was there when we did the new rifles, which I was all in favor of, but we bought them from a retail outfit that went out of business. Chief had to re-outfit those rifles, but at that time, the select board chairperson, when we were debating at a town meeting, said, let's give the chief whatever he wants. And this is not that chief, that was the chief then. That store closed, that chief was gone, the man who was in charge of that purchase was fired, but we plow ahead. Anything that we have to buy for the Falmouth Police Department basically goes through untouched. It's fine. I don't think this is going to be that, because the numbers I'm hearing are $60 million and 45,000 square feet. And for the public in Falmouth to swallow a 45,000 square foot police station at a cost of $60 million is just based on what's happening nationally as far as our economy is concerned, and grants and funding with Falmouth, $60 million for a new police station. And I'd love to know the justification for 45,000 square feet. I understand that there are going to be meeting rooms, that there's a number of areas that are going to be open to the public, but we're also getting a YMCA that's going to have basically duplicate facilities that are going to be open to the public. So I don't want this to get to a referendum and be defeated, because a new police station is direly needed. And this seems to me to be just so over the top as far as both square footage and cost are concerned, that for you guys to just keep walking down this road, I don't have confidence in it.
Sure, Chief. And
So the facility we're in now is half this size, basically, and we're basically splitting at the seams there. So this 45,000 square feet was originally, I think, 56,000 square feet.
More than
which
that-
we-
more than that.
More than that, which we brought it down because we moved some things out to the outbuilding. You know, this facility is gonna have a training aspect to it. As far as the why goes, a lot of the trainings that we put on are very sensitive. We need a private classroom that's closed off to the public, and that'll be in this lobby, which will also be utilized for the public for meetings such as this. I foresee movie night for the kids, you know, bingo, different community engagement events. It's gonna be used quite a bit. Keeping in mind that potential ball fields are there to have that extra parking. That parking is also for when we have 50 students come in, providing training. That's at no cost to us because we get free slots when we have that. So training is very important to me. The bottom line is you have to look at a facility that's going to basically be utilized by the police department in the town, I'm hoping for the next 50, 60 years. And I am advising everyone, look at the staffing study. We are grossly understaffed right now. I came here tonight, 38 calls for service on the day shift today. 38 calls for service. You know, we need more staffing, we need more people, we need specialty assignments, there's all kinds of things that this facility is gonna give us down the road. It's thinking not just my time with you folks, it's not just Deputy Chief Lowen's time, it's 20 years from now, making sure that we have a facility, and I'm saying do this right. When you're talking 60, 65 million, Mashpee's half our size. Their building's knocking on the door to $40 million, and they're half our size. And I can tell you, our facility right now is just grossly, it's too small. I don't have the space now for the staff that we've hired since I've been here. There's a line waiting for the restroom. I mean, this is just the reality. We need to get out of there. We just purchased the body-worn cameras. We couldn't charge them for a period of time because there was no capacity. Well, now we have the new tasers. I find out from the town electrician today, well, you can charge 3 in this room. You can charge 5 in this room. We don't have the capacity. It's bad, and we need to get out of there yesterday. And let's do this project right. I'm looking at the senior center right now. I'm there today with our chair of the select board, and that's too small. Let's do this right. Let's spend the money now, do it right, so the town of Falmouth is all set for the next 50, 60 years. Because I'm telling you, in 20 years, you go to add on to this thing, it's gonna be just as much just to add 20, you know, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square feet. Let's get it done now. Costs are going up, they're not going down. But I really do believe we're doing our due diligence. We started here, and we came down to a point, this is as far as we can go, or we're building it for today. And I'm telling you, I was a chief in Westboro, Mass. They built it for today. They're at capacity now. They've been there less than 6 years, right? I inherited that project. I don't want to do that here. I want to make sure we do this right and that we are stable for the next 50, 60 years. And yes, there's a cost to it. Listen, I'm right with you up in East Falmouth. I get it. My taxes may be going up a little bit. But this is for the history, for the police department, for public safety for years to come, and I will get off my soapbox.
Should have been facing this way before. I hear you, and I don't disagree with you. My problem is that there's no plan B. If this doesn't go through, you're stuck in that station you're in right now for I don't know how long. So can this be done incrementally? Is it possible to think of this as a police station for the next 50, 100 years, but can it be built over a period of time, as opposed to looking for $60 million worth of funding from this town and a 45,000 square foot station, as opposed to half of that or 2/3, something different than what you're proposing here?
I say no. We're at half of that now, and we're bursting at the seams.
Chief, I can answer that question. So one of the things I do in my capacity as a public safety designer is I speak at national conferences, in particular about the design of public safety facilities. And for the past several years, I've been giving a talk at this particular conference called the Station Design Conference. It's past couple of years it's been in Phoenix, Arizona. And we gave that talk specifically about understanding what construction cost is and why it is so expensive. And as part of that, we developed a case study for your very question, because it comes up a lot. Why don't we build what we need for today, phase out the construction, so in 10 or 15 years we add on 50% more building to it when there's more of an appetite possibly out in the public? And that seems to make a lot of sense. let's pay for what we can afford today, we pay that down, and then we build a little bit more when we can afford more, right? The problem is that for the past 120 years, in which we have very good data on the cost of construction, that unit of construction, that value of cost per year has outpaced significantly, almost 2 to 1, consumer price index. So your value of the dollar to the value of a dollar of construction goes down every single year. And so when we did that case study, we actually ran that calculation and said, all right, at 15 years, if we do a 50% addition onto a building, what will it cost? That addition will cost more than the initial bond of the building the first time you did it. So we certainly could phase this out and break it up into separate things. It's ultimately going to cost the taxpayer significantly more to do it that way. And so by building it all today, with some room for growth for some reasonable things that the police department simply doesn't need today, like the indoor firing range, it'd be great to have it, but we've recognized that we don't need it today. It's certainly more valuable to the town at a lower cost per dollar of tax money that they are giving to the town to build it all today than wait 15 years and build 50% of it. So we are putting all of our eggs in one basket, but we're doing so in order to build the most value to the taxpayer.
Hi, my name is Ahmed Mustafa. The old town hall used to be over there. Right behind it was the police station. That's where I worked. That place was so small, we had 2 male cells, 1 female cell. That was it. There was a little firing range that they had down in the cellar. 1 person could stand there and shoot. Then all of a sudden, they got the new station that they wanted to put up. But lo and behold, well, we don't need 2 lanes for the drive-through. We'll just get 1 lane. That'll be cheaper. We don't need this because, well, we'll hold off on. That's the problem. The chief is right. What he wants now, do what he wants. Because it's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. He knows what is needed. He's had his run around all over the place. He's been in Shrewsbury. He's been in Westboro, all around. He knows what is needed. Don't cut this thing short. Believe me, I know what it was like.
The only way from 28 on our side to Brick Kiln is down Oxbow to one way, as you know. 125 units are under development practically across the street from the, I'm sure you know this. I'm glad to see the road in the back, but as I read in the Enterprise, it was for police if things are tied up other places. Oxbow and 28 are high, looks to me like it's a high accident area. What are we going to do about this? And is there going to be another access? Because the traffic, I mean, the number of units alone are exploding on Brick Kiln, not to mention the Y at the other end and the development there.
Sorry, you told the microphone.
I liked it that way. So again, I'm sure you need a police station. I've been in it for different issues. But how is this going to impact access for the police, not to mention residents?
You're talking operationally for the department, how it's going to,
Well, yeah, for the police, but also Brick Kiln, is there going to be, I don't really want this, but a traffic light or something on the Oxbow end?
So,
Am I at the wrong meeting, by the way?
No.
And we
You're welcome
the
at
next one
both,
as well.
please.
Okay.
No, so we're not proposing any new traffic signalization as part of this project. I think one of the things to think about is that unlike a fire station, police department doesn't sort of they don't leave all at once, so to speak. So it's not like it's going to be a massive impact to the traffic around there. I can't speak around the logistics of safety or anything between the two streets, but Peter's not here either. He just left. Oh, there. I don't know if you had any other input or insight on the question.
Peter McConerty, Director of Public Works. Yeah, we've been looking at the traffic on the 28 side, 28 going down through at the Falmouth lumber portion of the property. So we looked at that a couple of weeks ago. We did some cutback on that area, and we're actually having our traffic consultant look at that area to see what would be needed in that area to make it more safe. If there is any type of signage or system that needs to be in that area on the 28 side, though, not on the Brick Kiln side. We're not looking at signals on the Brick Kiln side.
That's fine, because it always backs up.
Right.
Because of the stoplight farther down. But it's just with 125 more units going in, too, it's gonna make it hard for police to get out, too. It's not like TV, though, when everybody goes on the same shift and everybody leaves at the same time.
One of the police department can probably speak to it more directly, but the police department, like Matt said, unlike the fire department, where they leave at once and go out, the police department, they're staggered shifts, you know, and one patrol officer may leave, and then 10 minutes later, another patrol officer may leave, depending on what they're doing. However, I would, without looking at it deeply, I would suggest right now that the traffic on Brick Kiln Road, as far as the police department exiting, is going to be that much better than it is currently on Main Street, which is gridlocked all the time. More so in the summer, but on a good winter day, Main Street's tied up, and they're restricted access now. So we see it as an improvement. Again, we're cautious to the neighborhood. We want to have discussions with you. That's why we're having, you know, the letters going out for the abutters. We want to hear from you. The police department, this committee wants to be good neighbors to you when you get there. So we'll listen to you, and I appreciate your comments. And we'll look at them more, okay?
Yeah, and the plans look nice, look good, especially with the back.
There's a lot more discussion we have to have on those roads and stuff. Deputy Chief Bowen?
Yep. Good evening, Brian Lone, Deputy Chief. Just to add to everybody else's comments. So the police department has 5 patrol areas, so our cruisers are typically out in the community responding to calls from the community. They're not responding typically from the station unless they happen to be there to do a report or pick up paperwork or whatnot. There are 3 shifts. Everybody kind of comes and goes at various times. It's more difficult to get out on Main Street now, as Boyd said, than it would be for us to get out onto Brick Kiln Road. And if they were leaving to go to an emergency, that's what the lights and the sirens are for, to get through traffic. I know what you're talking about with the traffic backup on Oxbow. We understand that. We don't think that's going to impact our operations there, if that helps. Or not.
It's bad now
Oh, I know.
with the additional, because you guys could get stuck, too.
We could.
Anyone else? Questions, concerns, comments? Mr. Doobie?
This can Mr. Renshaw talk to the funding on this, how the town goes about funding this?
So we have said that this project will be funded with a debt exemption, and unlike some of our prior projects because of timing and size, this will be a debt exemption that does result in a tax increase. And we will have estimates of what that tax impact is going to be for our next forum. But that's essentially the answer to your question. We have $800 million on the capital plan, and we are going to do everything we can possible to, A, make sure we don't spend money that we don't need to spend, and B, for those needs that we absolutely have to proceed with and pay for, that we minimize the tax impact to the greatest extent possible. And a lot of that we expect we can do without a tax increase, but certainly nowhere near the 800 million over the next 10 years can be done without a tax increase, and we will have specific figures for this project. Yes, the tax increase will be the impact of borrowing for the full cost of the project. The project to date has been funded with, I believe it was some free cash initially, borrowing the design, $5 million for design was borrowed within the levy limit, so no tax impact. That was within the budget. And the rest will have a tax impact. Unless, there are some other levers that the town can pull. We have some funds in a debt and capital stabilization reserve. That's one of the strategies that we have for minimizing tax burden. We have about $17 million in that account now. What we can do with that funding is, depending on how the debt is structured, the way to pay the least interest cost for a bond is to have fixed principal, which means your interest payment goes down every year. The problem with that is the cost is higher in year one and then slowly tapers off in the following years. So if you're looking to keep the tax impact level, it's a little harder with that structure. That's where the capital and debt stabilization fund can be used.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you all coming out. Once again, we have another community forum scheduled for February 25th. And that'll be at the Senior Center down on Main Street. Also, just earlier today, there's a new email address that'll be published on our community page to reach out to the committee and or the town administration regarding this project. And if that isn't up on our page on the town website, I imagine it will be shortly. So, thank you. Thank you very much.